Hello and welcome to Rio's Positive POV. This is part 2 of 5. I'm going to continue to show you my Blu Ray collection. If you haven't seen part 1, I'm going to link it above so you can go check it out if you please. But without further ado, let's get into showing you the collection. So starting off, we have a double whammy. We have Deadpool and Deadpool 2. Yes, the Deadpool movies are in my collection. Have to have them in there. I'm a big fan of the Deadpool movies, more so the first one than the second movie. The first one caught me completely off guard. I did not know what to expect at all, and Ryan Reynolds is absolutely hysterical in that movie. Deadpool 1 and Deadpool 2 had to be in the collection. I for one cannot wait to see how they incorporate Deadpool into the MCU. That is going to be a fun watch for sure. Speaking of the MCU, the next movie we have is Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange was a thoroughly enjoyable entry into the MCU. I do, however, believe that the second movie, Multiverse of Madness, has potential to be the best movie from the MCU so far. That and Eternals are the two that I'm looking forward to the most, 100%. Next we have Due Date. Due Date is a comedy starring Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr. This movie is absolutely hilarious. The moment when he spits on the dog absolutely kills me. Kills me. Due Date, quality movie. Django Unchained. Yes, we have one of the movies from the greatest, the GOAT, Quentin Tarantino. Django Unchained features some strong performances. Christopher Waltz is absolutely amazing in the movie, but for me the highlight is Leonardo DiCaprio. His performance is absolutely banging. Django Unchained, I'm a Tarantino stan. There's no way that movie wasn't going to be in the collection. Now we have Dunkirk. This movie is, I say underrated. It's not underrated. I underrated the movie when I first seen it. When I watched Dunkirk in the cinema, I wasn't blown away by it. I thought it was really good. But after watching that movie multiple times now and taking a moment to appreciate the filmmaking, it's Christopher Nolan's best made film. I wouldn't say it's his best film, it's probably not for me, but when we're talking technical, it's definitely technically his best film, 100%. Dunkirk. That one scene on the beach where it's just going pop, 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 popping off behind him, insane. And then the one shot with Tom Hardy standing in front of that plane, Mazzoline, absolute Mazzoline. Dunkirk, sick film. Next we have Deep Blue Sea. Deep Blue Sea. Look, I am a massive, massive shark enthusiast. Do I go in the ocean past waist height? No, because shark movies have ruined my appreciation of the ocean. Deep Blue Sea is an amazing movie. The death scene, I'm not going to spoil it, but it features one of the most well-known actors of all time. Caught me completely off guard and is one of the best death scenes of all time. Next we have Doctor Sleep. Doctor Sleep, a truly underappreciated movie, man. How did we let this movie fail at the box office? I do not know. Rebecca Ferguson is outstanding in this movie. I for one am a huge fan. It is of course the follow-up to The Shining, so it's always going to be a hard movie to follow up. However, I am a massive fan. Doctor Sleep, one of the best movies of the last decade. Now we have Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu is a movie which I was always going to watch. I have been a Pokemon fan growing up throughout my youth and adolescence as well. I thought the animation there of the Pokemon was A1, top notch. I would love to see what they could do with a Ash Ketchum origin story with that kind of animation. That would be pretty sick. Next we have Catherine Bigelow's Detroit, which stars Will Porter and John Boyega. This is an awesome movie. Catherine Bigelow is one of my favourite directors of all time. I just love the directing that woman does. Her movies are so well made. This is an awesome one, but a very hard watch as well. I feel like a lot of these racism ones are hard watches. A lot of the shit these people go through is pretty insane. Talking about insane things people go through. End of watch. Jake Gyllenhaal, Michael Pena. This is David Ayer's best movie in my eyes. The End of Watch is so good, so good. Awesome cop movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't. Pardon me. Next we have Ex Machina, Alex Garland's debut movie, which stars Elisa Vikander. I believe that's how you pronounce her name. Excuse me if I'm wrong. Alex Garland wrote the 28 Days Later movie. This movie is sick. As directorial debuts go, this is one of the best. Definitely one of the top 10 directorial debuts of all time. Ex Machina. Next we have Edward Scissorhands. Yes, Edward Scissorhands. Tim Burton's movie starring Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder. I have to admit, Tim Burton's movies have slightly gone down in my estimation as I've got older. I used to love all his movies, but on rewatches over the last year or so, they're not as good as I remember them to be, Edward Scissorhands included. Next we have Eden Lake. Eden Lake is a British horror movie and it is fucking amazing. Okay? Amazing movie. And it hurts me to say that because I actually auditioned for that movie. Obviously did not get the part, and I am very disappointed about that because look at what came of the movie. Absolute banger. Absolute banger. Next we have Jake Gyllenhaal in Enemy, Denis Villeneuve's movie. This is one of his weakest films in my opinion. I hadn't seen it before I bought the Blu Ray, so I bought the Blu Ray because physical media is king. Enemy. Next in this little batch we have Edge of Tomorrow, which I like to call Live, Die, Repeat, starring Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. This is one of my top 10 movies over the last decade. Check this movie out if you haven't seen it. It's freaking awesome. Give me a second. I'm just gonna get another batch. Next we have Elf, the Christmas movie starring Will Ferrell. We watch this pretty much every Christmas. It's getting a bit too much if I say so myself. Don't tell the fam. Next we have Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. This movie, however, I can watch so many times and I will never get bored. Love seeing Bruce Lee just absolutely kick ass in this. This is one of my favourite martial arts movies. I am a huge, huge Bruce Lee fan. Next we have one of my favourite TV series of all time. I don't have that much TV in my collection, just my favourites. I think I've got like 4 or 5 complete series and this is one of them. It is Entourage. Entourage is loosely based on Mark Wahlberg and his entourage in Hollywood. That series is so good. It's so light-hearted. It's so easy to watch. 25 minute episodes, short and sweet. Perfect. Next we have Four Lions. Four Lions is my second favourite comedy ever made. This movie is freaking hilarious from start to finish. Everyone has been banging on about Riz Ahmed in Sound of Metal. Deservedly so, deservedly so. His performance in this is even better. Go check out Four Lions. Next we have Frozen. Yes, let it go, let it go. Frozen is in my collection. Now we have David Fincher's Fight Club. Fight Club, the ultimate bro movie. Yes, I am a film bro. I admit it. Don't care. I love movies like Fight Club. I am a huge fan of this film. Always have been. David Fincher, Brad Pitt, Edward Norton combined to make an absolute banger. Now we have one of my other favourite comedies, Friday. Friday. This movie has me in absolute stitches. This one and its sequel, which I don't actually have in the collection sadly, are just absolutely hilarious. Chris Tucker is so freaking funny in this movie. So funny. We need another Friday movie. We need another Friday movie. Like now. Like Friday. Very terrible joke. Apologies. Next we have Fargo. The movie from the Coen brothers, which stars Frances McDormand. What a movie that is. So good. It is my second favourite Coen brothers movie behind The Big Lebowski. Next we have a series of movies. It is the Fast and Furious series. Fast and the Furious. Too Fast, Too Furious. The Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, which is one of the most underrated Fast and Furious movies. I'm a huge fan of the Japanese aesthetic, and the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift is maybe my favourite in the whole series. Shh, don't tell anyone. Next we have Fast and Furious. The name's pretty shit, I gotta say that. Fast and Furious 5, which I think they called Fast 5. I don't really know. Fast and Furious 6. Fast and Furious 7, Fast and Furious 8. I think they just gave up after a while with the namings, which I can't blame them. There's been loads of them. I'm a huge fan of the series. Movies 1, 2 and 3 are my favourites. They were when it was all about the cars, the drifting, the street racing, the Fast and the Furious. Now it's all about blowing up as much as you can and who can be the biggest dude on screen. I still like the new movies, but they have got progressively worse in my eyes. Let me just get another batch of movies, be right back. The next movie we have is Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump, of course, stars Tom Hanks as Forrest Gump. This Tom Hanks and Robert Zemeckis collaboration is one of the most talked about movies of all time. When I speak about best movies with my non-film mates, they pretty much talk about this as one of the best movies ever made. It's not in my eyes, but it is a very good movie for sure. Forrest Gump. Next we have a comedy. It is Forgetting Sarah Marshall, starring Jason Segel. This movie is okay. It's not going to blow your socks off. It is a pretty funny watch, however. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. Next we have another David Ayer movie. Yes, I have more than one David Ayer movie in my collection. Contrary to belief, the man can direct. Fury, starring Brad Pitt. This is a really good war movie. Shia LaBeouf is also in it. John Baratheon's also in it. Who else is in it? I can't remember now. Scott Eastwood, Jason Isaacs, Logan Lerman, Michael Pena. Solid cast, solid movie. Next we have a underrated movie from Damien Chazelle. Ryan Gosling stars in First Man. This movie is so sick. Visually stunning. If Damien Chazelle is slowly becoming one of my favourite filmmakers. If his first couple of movies are anything to go by, he is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Next we have a man who is a force. He was a force, should I say. Stanley Kubrick and his movie Full Metal Jacket. This movie is absolutely awesome. If you've seen Tropic Thunder, this is basically what it is, a parody of Full Metal Jacket, Stanley Kubrick's movie. It is so good. This may be my favourite war movie of all time. Next we have two movies. We have Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. And then we have Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald. The first Fantastic Beasts movie I thought was awesome. I was a big fan. Huge Harry Potter fan. As you can tell probably by the Elder Wand behind me. Harry Potter is my favourite film series, so when I knew they were making a additional series, I was absolutely buzzing. The movies haven't quite lived up to what I expected them to be, however they are 2 good watches. Now, we have another TV programme, Friday Night Lights. All you oldest Hodge fans watch Friday Night Lights. This is the first time I've seen Hodge. I am a massive fan of this. Massive fan. Kyle Chandler stars. Clear eyes, full heart, can't lose. Friday Night Lights. And now we have a TV series again. A very decisive TV series. Ladies and gentlemen, Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Bonus features. Season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This TV series was so bloody sick, yeah? Game of Thrones was one of my favourite TV series, and still is. Even though I didn't like the way season 8 went, the first 7 seasons are fucking amazing. So Game of Thrones is one of my favourite TV series of all time. Next we have David Fincher's Gone Girl. Rosamund Pike in this movie puts on such a sick performance. This movie is just, look, so good. Fincher, one of the best. Look, he just puts out banger after banger. Gone Girl is a banger. Next, hold on a minute. Talking of bangers, Goodfellas, top 10 movie of all time. Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, Ray Liotta, Joe Pesci. This movie here, for as far along as I've known, I've always wanted to be a gangster. Goodfellas, bad boy movie, top 10 movie of all time. Nicolas Cage, Gone in 60 Seconds. Angelina Jolie is so sexy in this movie, and yes, I am objectifying a woman. Sorry, I'm allowed to think a woman is beautiful in a movie. Angelina Jolie, to die for in this movie. This is a guilty pleasure movie of mine. I know it's not a well-made movie, but I thoroughly enjoy it and I watch it all the time. Gone in 60 Seconds. Next we have Glengarry Glen Ross. Every single time I seem to mention this movie, no one's ever heard of it, and it blows my mind that no one has ever heard of this movie. I am by trade an estate agent, a realtor for my American viewers, and this movie is one that I go by. ABC. Always be closing. Always be closing. Every single moment you should be working on closing. Look, it stars Al Pacino, Alec Baldwin, Kevin Spacey, Ed Harris, Jack Lemmon, Alan Arkin and Jonathan Pryce. And no one's seen it. You lot have lost the plot, mate. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Bad boy movie. Next we have Ridley Scott's Gladiator starring Russell Crowe. This movie, so good. Joaquin Phoenix was a hated man in my eyes after this movie. I literally hated him for years. Gladiator, one of my favourites. It is one of my favourites. The score is so good. The score is absolutely amazing. Did it win else? Yeah, it won Best Picture and won Best Actor at the Academy Awards. Thoroughly deserved. Next we have Clint Eastwood's Gran Torino. Get Off My Lawn. Sick film. Clint Eastwood is such a don. Honestly, one of the goats of filmmaking, acting, directing, whatever it may be. When it comes to filmmaking, Clint Eastwood is an absolute boss. Next we have Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity, starring Sandra Bullock and George Clooney. This had 10 Oscar nominations, but what award it should have got was How Sweaty can a man's hands get? This would have won, because this movie, my hands were sweating the whole movie. I'm not a man for heights, and gravity got to my head, I can't lie. What an amazing movie. Hey you guys, Goonies. This is an all-time favourite of mine. Big fan of this growing up. What more can I say? The Goonies. Absolute classic. Next we have Good Morning Vietnam. Robin Williams is sorely missed. R.I.P. God rest this guy's soul, because he was a phenomenal actor. Big Robin Williams fan. Good Morning Vietnam had to be in the collection. Next we have Glass, the third movie in the trilogy from M. Night Shyamalan. This is a trilogy. I'm calling it a trilogy. It is a trilogy, the weakest of the three for sure. But you can't have 1 and 2 and not have 3 in the collection. It had to be there. Next we have Gangs of New York, a Martin Scorsese picture. Yes, I know Cameron Diaz was awful in the movie, but Daniel Day-Lewis was not. Daniel Day-Lewis put on maybe his best performance, bar My Left Foot, in this movie. Bill the Butcher is one of my favourite characters. Martin Scorsese, Daniel Day-Lewis, that is a team. And then you sprinkle in Leo. Oh, love this movie. Next we have Jordan Peele and Daniel Kaluuya's Get Out. This movie is freaking awesome. Awesome. I don't know if I've told enough people, but I initially watched this in New York in the cinema, and I don't know how you Americans do it, honestly. That cinema experience was so annoying. All that ranting and raving, that hollering, the clapping and shouting pisses me off. You do that shit in the UK, or in London to be precise, you are getting told to fuck off. Get out. Next we have a double whammy. We have Guardians of the Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Guardians of the Galaxy is my favourite MCU movie. Love that. The soundtrack is my second favourite soundtrack of all time, behind Boogie Nights. 2 of these great movies. I can't wait to see number 3. I think it's going to be the best trilogy in the MCU. I think so. Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and 2. Be back in a sec, get another batch. Okay, next movie we have Green Lantern, the extended cut, even more shit. Don't know why I have this in my collection, but it is there. Next we have Godzilla, and then might as well show you the next one in its 4K beauty, Godzilla King of the Monsters. I really like these movies. I am a huge fan. I bought this one the other day on 4K, as they need to be seen. They are visually great movies. Are they going to win any awards? No. Are they meant to? No. Are they hella fun? Yes. Next we have How to Be Single. This must be another movie which I was given, because I haven't seen this yet. It does, however, star Dakota Johnson, Rebel Wilson, Alison Brie and Leslie Mann. Should definitely check that one out myself and let you guys know via Twitter what I think after, or Letterboxd. So follow me on there if you haven't already. All my social media is Rio's Positive POV, so go check me out on Instagram, Twitter and Letterboxd. Next we have The Hurt Locker, Catherine Bigelow's movie. This is freaking awesome. Jeremy Renner is top drawer in this movie, absolute banger. Next we have Michael Mann's Heat, starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. However, my favourite performance in the movie is Val Kilmer. I think he's absolutely awesome in this. This movie also features the best shootout in a movie ever. So sick. Been tried to replicate many times and it cannot be replicated. That shootout, banging. Next we have Spike Jonze's Her, starring Joaquin Phoenix. This movie is a revolutionary tale. This is truly a modern masterpiece. Yes, This is a love story, absolutely fantastic movie, visually stunning. Joaquin Phoenix puts on a fantastic performance in this. Big fan of Phoenix. Even though I hated him in the Gladiator, he done his job well in that movie too. Next we have Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge, I am absolutely gobsmacked that this is based on a true story. Absolute hero, this geezer. Inspirational is the right word to use for this movie. Next we have the Hobbit trilogy. Where's the first one? An Unexpected Journey, The Desolation of Smaug, and then The Battle of the Five Armies. I like the Hobbit movies. I'm a big fan of Peter Jackson. I do, however, feel like that whole trilogy could have been made into one movie. A 4-hour epic. Cut out a load of the garbage and that would have been one of the best movies ever made. I understand why they made it a trilogy. However, for me, personally, I would have preferred it as one movie. Next, we have a series of movies. The Harry Potter franchise. Yes, my favourite franchise of all time. I am not going to tell you what my ranking is. I'm going to do that in a future video because I want to delve into some in-depth conversations about these movies. Growing up, these were a big part of my teenage years. I am a huge fan of the Harry Potter series. So I will bring out a video shortly breaking down that. Next, we have another trilogy. In fact, this is the Iron Man trilogy. Iron Man, Iron Man 2, and Iron Man 3. Iron Man 1 is fantastic. It is one of the best MCU movies, one of the best comic book movies. It is just behind Batman Begins as my favourite comic book superhero origin story. Iron Man trilogy, banging. Next we have Interstellar. I watched this for the first time on a plane. I think I was flying to New York, may have been Marbella, do not know. But I remember disliking this movie. And that is absolutely insane to me now because Christopher Nolan's movie is so good. So good. This may be my favourite Nolan movie. It may very well be my favourite Nolan movie at the moment. It does change on a day-to-day basis. I'll watch Interstellar and I'll be like, Interstellar's my favourite. Then I'll watch Dunkirk and I'll be like, Dunkirk's my favourite. Dark Knight is probably my favourite and will be just because of that initial experience I had in the cinema with The Dark Knight. Interstellar though, banging. Next we have a musical movie, Into the Woods, which stars Emily Blunt and also has a plethora of really good actors in this movie. It is a good movie. I am not the biggest fan of musicals. I did get it solely to see Emily Blunt and, of course, the GOAT. The GOAT. The GOAT. Next we have Tarantino's second best movie he's ever made, Inglourious Basterds. Christopher Waltz is a revelation in this movie. Honestly, that geezer is so sick of an actor. The fact he can just switch between different languages and speak the languages as clean as he does with the conviction on his face. That geezer was born to act and his performance in this movie is truly outstanding. Inglourious Basterds is really well written. Oh, I love it. I absolutely, no, I don't absolutely, that would not be correct. I absolutely love this movie as I do. Whoa, what happened there? Couple of mumbled words. 10 out of 10 movie for me, one of my favourite movies of all time, Inglourious Basterds. Next we have Interview with a Vampire, Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas, Kirsten Dunst. This movie is awesome. I am a huge fan of the vampire genre movies and this is one of the better movies ever made in that genre. Next we have another Christopher Nolan time-bending extravaganza, Inception. This movie is fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio again, showing why he's one of the best actors working today. This movie is fantastic. Look, listen to the cast, yeah? Ken Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Elliot Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger and Michael Caine. Mazzoline! So sick. The movie visually is also stunning. That opening scene where you first see the dream world and you get the buildings going like that, insane. Next we have one of my top 5 comedies of all time, in Bruges. Colin Farrell, Brendan Gleeson and Ralph Fiennes are hilarious in this movie. What an absolute banger. This movie, when people are talking about best comedies of all time, never gets brought up, and it needs to be. It frickin' needs to be, because it is so funny. This movie is my type of humour. My type of humour. So if you enjoy this, if this is your type of comedy, me and you will get along. If it's not, sort yourself out, alright? Next we have Inside Man, a Spike Lee joint starring Denzel Washington, Clive Owen and Jodie Foster. Watched this again the other day, still a decent solid movie. None of their best work, however, it is still a thoroughly enjoyable watch. Next we have Paul Thomas Anderson's Inherent Vice. Pure hallucinogenic pleasure. That is exactly what this movie is. Another movie in my collection starring Joaquin Phoenix. This man knows how to pick a movie. Inherent Vice, quality. Paul Thomas Anderson, one of my favourite filmmakers. He knows how to make a film. Absolute beast. Next we have If Beale Street Could Talk. Barry Jenkins, big boy movie. The performances are by far the standout for me in Beale Street Could Talk. If you haven't seen this movie, please go and check it out. It is a must see. Next we have, when this movie first came out, starring Will Smith, I Am Legend, I was a huge fan. There was a period of time where Will Smith was just putting out a banger after banger. He was my favourite actor for like a 5-year period. I'm not a big fan of most of his recent work. However, his performance in this is truly pulls at your heartstrings. I Am Legend, excellent movie. Now finishing off part 2 with my favourite Steven Spielberg movie, one of my favourite movies of all time, and the sole reason why I do not go in the ocean past waist height. Jaws. There was a point in time where I was scared of swimming in swimming pools. I was automatically thinking of sharks. And I'm not talking about me as a kid, I'm talking about me as an adult. That is insane. This movie has had some sick trauma on my brain. But that just goes to show how good of a movie it is. Honestly, it says on the back here, the film that still makes audiences afraid to go in the water. Hell yeah, you're correct. One of my favourite movies of all time, and the suspense that is created by the score alone is just epic. Jaws, the final movie in part 2. Thank you for watching. If you haven't seen part 1, check it out. The link is at the beginning of the video. If you've got to the end of this video, thank you for watching. I'll be back soon with part 3 of part 5.